Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to give everybody just a few minutes to hop on, and then we'll get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. We are so excited to see you in Orlando very soon. To get things started, I would like to introduce the president of Varsity Spirit, Mr. Bill Seeley.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, coaches. We are coming to you live from the Walt Disney World Resort. Want to thank you for joining us this evening. We've invited all of the all-star coaches with teams competing at Disney to join us for this update. And we are so excited to see you guys in the coming weeks. For over 40 years, our championship events have been the culmination of the season that cheerleaders and dancers look forward to every year. These championship events are a chance to celebrate the athletes for the hard work they do year round. They provide athletes the opportunity to showcase their skills and celebrate each other despite the challenges they've faced this year, and those have been significant. Because we want as many athletes as possible to have this experience, and we know how important it is to them, our team at Varsity Spirit has worked real closely with the Walt Disney World Resort to deliver a championship experience that is safe, fun, and rewarding as possible. We ran our first Disney events over the past week, and we've gathered some feedback to help your teams navigate the exciting weekends ahead. I want to thank you guys again for joining us in Orlando. Safe travels and good luck to each of you. To kick things off, I'd like to hand it over to Melanie Berry, our Senior Vice President of Competitions and Special Events. Mel?
Thanks, Bill. And thank you, coaches, for being with us tonight. There are a few things that we want to go over with you and share with you to re-emphasize to make your experience the best that it possibly can be while you're here at Walt Disney World and at our events. During this webinar, we're going to cover spectator venue procedures. We're going to cover Disney park reservations. And then we will take the time to answer questions at the end. If you can submit your questions in the live event Q&A, it's in the top right corner of your screen. As a reminder, if you have questions about rules or specific information to your event, those will be addressed in your coaches webinar that you'll receive more information on coming soon. First, I'd like to introduce Kelly Day. Kelly is the proprietor of guest experiences at ESPN's Wide World of Sports. She's going to talk about our spectator venue procedures. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Melanie. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? We're ready to go. We're ready for everybody to get down to Orlando.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Melanie, for setting us up. I'm going to go ahead and start talking through some of the procedures that we're going to have on site once you guys arrive in Orlando. So first and foremost, one of the most important roles we have this year is the team safety champion. Each individual team has one safety champion. That person must be over 18 years of age, and they cannot be an athlete or a coach. The coaches will need to enter this information when they register, and the safety champion must be willing to participate in additional safety training from Walt Disney World Resort prior to the championship. Each team is required to have a separate safety champion. So just as an example, if you bring 2 or 4 different teams from the same program, you either need 2 or 4 different designated individuals. And just so everyone is aware, safety champions do not receive any special access for the competition. The safety champion's responsibilities include ensuring that all the athletes, coaches, and spectators of your team follow the health and safety requirements such as face coverings and physical distancing. We're also going to ask that they help organize the parents and fans from your team in communicating with the Varsity Spirit staff when it's time to enter the venue for your team's performance. So when the safety champions arrive at the ESPN's Wide World of Sports Complex, they will check in at the customer service desk and receive a wristband, which they will use to kind of designate themselves throughout the experience. Safety champion should be the first person in line to help the Varsity staff organize your team. Okay, the next topic we want to cover is face masks. So face coverings are required for all guests ages 2 and up, and that is all across Walt Disney World Resort. So that would be inclusive at the parks, at the resorts, at Disney Springs, and also at ESPN's Wide World of Sports. We do ask guests to bring their own face coverings and wear them at all times. The mask should fully cover the nose and the mouth and must also be secure underneath the chin. We don't allow neck gaiters, open chin bandanas, or masks with bows, mesh, or holes of any kind. Athletes are able to remove their face covering when they are actively performing during their scheduled warm-ups or when they're on the performance floor. And guests may remove their face covering while they're actively eating or drinking, but they should be stationary and maintain appropriate physical distancing while doing so. One other change this year is that we are not permitting food and drinks inside of the performance venues. However, guests will be able to find food and beverage options throughout the Wide World of Sports complex, both from food trucks as well as concessions. One other really important note that we want to make sure everybody understands this year is we have tried to do our best to do a really great scheduling flow so that everybody has the opportunity to come in and watch their team perform. So with that being said, we are asking that athletes don't arrive at the complex more than 75 minutes before their team's performance times. Once they arrive, teams are going to go directly to their practice at fields 18 and 19. Spectators are asked to not arrive more than 45 minutes prior to their team's performance. You're not going to line up for your team's performance until about 10-15 minutes prior to that actual performance time on the paperwork. Once the team has finished performing this year, we are going to be asking everyone to leave the complex. And awards are available to watch on Varsity TV so that you can enjoy that from your hotel room. Also this year, we have limited the space in each venue to 200 spectators per team. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to allow sister teams to watch teams from their gym this year. And so we do ask that once each team is done competing, that they do head out to go enjoy either the resorts or possibly Disney Springs, or maybe use one of the theme park tickets that they have. Awards may be live with limited athletes and or coaches, but most everything is going to be virtual this year, so there should be no need to stay at the complex. During the online registration process, you're going to select the team that you are watching, but just know the space is limited and capacity limits are subject to change. Again, we are going to ask the safety champions to help prioritize their spectator group at the venue, and we are very confident that all parents will be able to see their athletes perform. We would ask that you view the full venue tour video for specific instructions on spectator lineup for your venue. And I promise once you watch that video, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable with everything we're talking about. So I think that video is going to be pushed into the chat as we speak. And just one other note, we do ask that you understand physical distancing is required at all times, including entering the complex, lining up to view your team, and also in the venues. As you arrive at the ESPN's Wide World Sports Complex, if you want to wait for your team before entering, we ask that you do so in the designated team meeting area in the parking lot next to the main walkway. If you would rather meet up inside of the sports complex, there are several designated areas for you, including the grass right next to the globe and also on field 20, which is the Varsity family zone. And just one more reminder that we do ask you remain physically distanced at all times. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the single day sports complex ticket option. So if spectators are purchasing single day tickets, you'll need to provide the families with a ticket link and customer number. You will receive the ticket link in an email from Varsity Spirit. The customer number is located on the top right-hand corner of your invoice. So as you can see on this slide, that's kind of what the screen will look like when they go to enter that customer number. After the request is made, within an hour, the guest will be emailed a one-time code and a link for each ticket and day that they want to purchase. When they go to enter that code, this is a screen that they're going to see. So they're going to take the code that they received, which again is a one-time use code, enter it in here and hit continue. Just a couple of things that we do ask everyone keeps in mind. We ask that they please read the site carefully to ensure that the spectator is purchasing the correct day for the competition that they need. When they click the buy ticket button, they need to review the COVID language on the main page. And when entering the one-time use code, they are acknowledging the COVID-19 guidelines as they enter that code. The confirmation comes from noreply@disneyparks.com. So you might have to remind them just to check their junk or spam folders just in case it lands there. The confirmation is also going to include a PDF of their ticket to be presented at the sports complex. And just one more reminder that there are no refunds after purchase and no exceptions to that. Each day is $25 per person. The next slide is going to show you the screen, and up there in the top right corner is the buy ticket button that they would select when they go to purchase the tickets for the days that they're coming to the complex. And then we just have a couple of tips. So if you're purchasing more than one single day ticket for your family, you must have a one-time use code for every ticket you would like to purchase. Order one ticket at a time and wait until you receive a confirmation before you start the next one. Make sure that your cart is empty before starting a second order. And if you receive any errors after placing your second order, you can clear your browsing data, and sometimes that will clear it right up. And as a last resort, you could jump on a different browser for the second ticket. Well, Melanie, I think that covers most of the things out at the ESPN's Wide World Sports. So back to you.
Great, thanks, Kelly. A lot of information, good information. Just a little tidbit, D2 Summit, you're going to be receiving your information by the end of, next week for your sports complex one-day admission tickets. Summit, you guys were waiting on your computers with your fingers on the buttons, because when we opened it today, our website got a little overwhelmed for a little while. And so we just asked that you be patient. We did have orders go through, and they're still going through. And so we or just check back if you weren't able to get in. But D2, you'll get yours next week. Next, I'd like to hand it over to Andrea Giroux Davis, Senior Manager, E-commerce, Sales and Services for Walt Disney World Travel Operations. Andrea is going to talk about the Disney Park reservations. Hi, Andrea. I think you're on mute, Andrea. Sorry.
It has to happen once a day. Hello, and thank you so much for having me. I'm going to take a few moments to walk everyone through tips on how to ensure you, your teams, and their families can make the most of their Walt Disney World visit. So we're going to start with pre-arrival. We can start to the next screen. First step after receiving your ticket information is to create a My Disney Experience account. If you or the group leader already has an account and are just traveling with family or a small group, that'll work. However, if a group leader will be managing a larger group, we do recommend creating a unique My Disney Experience account, where everyone they are managing is listed under the Family and Friends section. Once the account is created, link a unique ticket ID to each person attending. Whether you plan on visiting the parks or not, it is essential to link the ticket numbers to each participant and group leader to ensure they have access to the ESPN wide world of sports. Finally, for pre-arrival, if the leader and the group are wanting to visit the parks during their stay, they will need to make a Disney theme park reservation for each day they are planning to visit a park and they have a valid theme park admission. We will discuss assistance for anyone having challenges making theme park reservations in just a moment. But if you've completed all those steps, you are set and ready to go from a pre-arrival standpoint. Next up is from when you come to Orlando. Next slide, please. All right. Upon arrival in Orlando, please head to the Varsity registration area. There, the leader or the parent will receive a plastic media card for each person in their party. I think we have a nice walkthrough on the next slide. Once they receive this media, they will need to link it to the same My Disney Experience account they had previously linked all the ticket numbers to prior to their arrival. There should be one piece of media per person traveling. We encourage doing so right away so that if there's any challenges, our cast can assist you to ensure that when it is competition time or time to enjoy the parks, everybody is set up for success. All right, now for MDX chat. So for those planning to experience the parks but are maybe having a little trouble making a new park reservation on the dates park passes are fully booked, there is an option where our cast will assist based on availability. To reach out to this team, the leader or family member that has the My Disney Experience account needing assistance would go through their My Disney Experience app and utilize the Chat with Us function. They will want to type the word Varsity and hit enter, and the next Disney cast member available will respond as soon as possible to check and see if there's any availability for the sold out dates and assist in making that park reservation when possible. It is important to note that cast members are not able to modify previously booked park passes, nor can they sell tickets or modify any purchased tickets. Also, depending on the popularity of our chat function, the cast wait can get a little bit long, but as soon as you do get a cast member, they will do their absolute best to get the participants and their families into our parks. Melanie, back to you.
Thanks, Andrea. Before we get to questions, we do have an update on our commuter pickups. I wanted to talk about the email that you received, I believe, yesterday. The good news is, really the real news is we filled up pretty quickly. But the good news is we were able to go in and add some additional time slots for all commuter athletes and the extra Disney ticket pickups. And our pickups this year, in years past, for those of you who may have been, it was always at Disney Springs. And I think this is going to be much better for you. We're at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. We will be doing a drive-through pickup for all the commuter athletes and the extra Disney ticket pickups. That way you stay in your car, you don't even have to get out of your car, so you'll be in your air conditioning and our staff will come to you and after directed into the correct area. Walk-up registrations cannot be accommodated. You must stay in your car, please, for everyone's safety. We'll need you to sign up for a block of time to pick your tickets if you haven't done so already, Summit. D2, you're going to receive your instructions on how to sign up for this scheduler early next week. Each time frame has about an hour, and you can come anytime during that hour that you wish. If you plan on using a car service such as Uber or Lyft, make sure that you talk to that driver before coming in so that he understands or she understands that she will be staying with you and not dropping you off. We suggest you use a taxi or a car service instead if you don't have transportation. Now we'll take the remaining time to answer any questions. I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Loper. She's with our marketing department.
Thank you so much, Melanie. And this first question is for you. Mel, I missed the email with the link to sign up for check-in times. What do I do, or where do I go to check in if I don't have a reservation?
I'm sorry, you missed the link, or you missed the time of?
They missed the link to schedule a time to pick up their registration.
Okay. If you still have the email, or obviously don't have the email, you can email your specialist, your registration specialist, and they can resend it to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie. Kelly, this question is going to be for you. If someone in our group forgets their mask, will Disney or Varsity provide one for us at the gate? Kelly, I think you're muted.
It might be wrong. You want me to answer that for you, Kelly? Disney does ask that you bring your own masks. However, if someone has incorrect mask, possibly, they can always pick one up at the front gate.
Thank you, Melanie. Andrea, this question is for you. What should we do if our ticket does not work when we get to the park or to the ESPN complex?
Certainly. Please visit the park or complex customer service desk for assistance. Make sure you have linked your physical ticket media in the My Disney Experience app. And I did forget one other little thing. When you do get those plastic cards, if you take a picture of them just in case on the off chance somebody should lose them, that's the best way for us to ensure that you can always get that back by visiting any of our guest relations departments. So answered a little question in there on the side.
Thank you so much. Mel, this one is for you again. You talked a little bit about the practice times on the fields prior to warmups. Can you explain that process a little bit further and what the practice time on the fields is versus what their actual warm-up times are?
Sure. When you get your order of competition, and actually those will be posted here very soon. We made a little tweak to that today too, but it tells you what time your optional practice is. So when teams first arrive, they're asked to go down to the soccer fields, and I believe it's fields 18 and 19. We have a staff down there that will check you in, and you have your own section of that field. You'll see that they're all, painted off into huge squares, about 50 by 50 to be exact. And that is your time to do stretching, warm up, practice, whatever you would like to do within your time frame. And I believe that's 20 minutes. And then as soon as you're finished with your 20-minute warm up, you'll gather your stuff and head on to your venue. And really, it'll be just about perfect timing for you to enter your athlete entrance at your venue, and the staff will escort you in and take you to the warm-up area.
Thank you. And Mel, this one is also for you too. We've gotten a couple questions about buses and how transportation to the venue works. Can you explain who is allowed to ride the championship buses and how that transportation will work?
Sure. For D2 Summit and Summit, we will be using several resorts. We have provided buses for those who have purchased the hotel travel package. Your colored lanyard designates whether or not you can ride the bus. Yellow are for commuters, and of course for commuters we don't allow transportation for them. So the bus schedules for Varsity is strictly for our hotel travel package guests. Also, for those of you, and I know we have several that have booked their own reservations at various Disney resorts, those buses are not running currently to the sports complex, the Walt Disney World buses. So be sure, if you're a commuter and you were thinking that maybe you were using the Disney buses, you'll need to arrange another ride through Uber or taxis to get to the thing. But our buses are for the hotel travel package people.
Thank you so much, Mel. And speaking of commuters, we've got a couple questions about that commuter pickup process. Are different parents allowed to pick up other reservations in the pickup process, or does everybody need to have their own individual appointment?
Yes, they can. They can pick up, you can pick up to 5 invoices, and people have done that in the past. That's really fine. But you need to have copies printed out of either your confirmation number or your paid in full balance, depending on whether you're a commuter or you're a Disney ticket purchaser. Just make sure you refer back to that email that tells you which one. But if you bring all 5 invoices, simply when you drive up to us, we have about 20 staff who are scheduled for this, and we will be servicing 20 cars at one time. And so you'll pull up, you'll give us your printed out sheet, and we know then how many of the ticket media cards you need. So if you purchased 5 tickets, then we're going to give you 5 of the ticket media cards, and in return, you're going to give us your 5 spectator waivers back. You'll give us the waivers, we'll give you the cards, and then you'll be on your way. If for some reason that somebody doesn't have their information ready, we've got, when you pull into the parking lot or the area of the resort, it's kind of a long, windy road that we're pulling you into the resort next door. And we have staff that are going to kind of direct and stop you to make sure you have your paperwork and everything ready. It is so essential. Well, actually, it's required that if by that point, if you have not paid in full for your tickets, you actually don't have your ticket. So you've got to pay in full, guys, before you come. That's very important. But if for some reason you've got an issue with you didn't bring your waiver form, we've got extra waiver forms. But if you haven't paid or you don't have your printed out invoice with you, we're going to kind of send you over to the Varsity help tent. And then once they get your printout or anything they need help you with, we're going to put you back in the line at the front, at the back of the line. So it's really important that you come prepared, please. We just ask that everybody be patient while you're there and respectful, hopefully. I'm a little worried about the cars honking horns. We're going to go pretty quickly, I believe, and we've got a lot of people for Summit and D2 to get through there, but we know we can do this.
Awesome. Thank you, Mel. And Andrea, this question is for you. I know you talked about it a little earlier, but can you clarify again what someone should do if they're having issues getting park availability right now?
Absolutely. So when you go into your My Disney Experience app, there's actually 3 little lines at the bottom, kind of the hamburger. If you click on that, it brings up a menu. One of the tiles says chat with us. When you click on that, what you're going to need to do is just type in the word Varsity and hit send. Our cast members, as soon as they can, will reach back out. It's just an asynchronous messaging, so just like text messaging, and we'll reach out and we'll ask which dates and for what people they are looking to have park reservations. As a reminder, this is for new reservations only. So if you already have park reservations, we are not able to modify, but we're absolutely able to look and see if we have any availability at any of our parks for whatever group you have linked to your My Disney Experience account that is with Varsity.
Thank you so much. And I think we've got time for one more question. Melanie, we're seeing a lot of questions come in about parking. Can you let us know how parking will be handled at the complex this season?
Well, actually, the good news is there's no fee for parking this year. So as you come in, you'll be guided down the Victory Way driveway, and they'll be asked to park out in the front. But again, there's no fee this year, and no reserved premium parking.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you guys so much for all of those questions. And a special thank you to Kelly and Andrea for joining us tonight. I'm going to pass it back to Melanie to close us out.
Thank you all for joining us. We know this is a lot of information, and we're going to take this recording and we're going to send it to you guys so that you can share it with your parents. You know, our end goal is the same as hopefully yours is too, to get these kids on the floor. We want them to have a safe, fun experience, but we will need everyone's cooperation, and by following the rules and all the guidelines that we have set forth and worked with Disney World to make it the most enjoyable event that we can. You know, we missed out last year, and we want to make this a very special year to remember. So please, I can't emphasize how much we need your cooperation with this. A couple of reminders. We want you to keep an eye on your email always. You'll be receiving a link to your coach's webinar very soon, both for Summit and D2. Also, each event has a coach's band. It's very important, guys, that you go in and join that. We give updates throughout the weekend, as well as the parents, the public band for Summit and D2, constantly giving out information all day long. So it's a really great source to make sure that you're up and up on everything that's happening. Everything we talked about tonight and more, including everything we've already sent to you, is posted on the webpage of your event. So if you go to varsity.com, click on Championship Resources, and then click on the event you're coming to, you'll see everything right there that you need. We're so excited for you guys to be in Orlando. We can't wait to see you. Travel safely, and we'll see you very soon. Have a great night, y'all.